Good evening, everyone. We are the group 10. So, our report is all about the high school learners. But before we start, we have to pray. So, let us pray. Dear Father, Son, and Spirit, Amen. Lord, thank you for this day given us. Lord, thank you sa blessing ang tagmasama niyo, Lord. Di mo ba'y antay sa tanda niyo, Lord, na i-guide mo kami perming, Lord, ng kamami good health, ng knowledge and wisdom para sa amon nga journey, and Lord, na ma-fulfill namon ang mga needs mo, and Lord, tani ma-deliver namon ang suni nga gabi nga report. And Lord, thank you sa blessings na mo, Lord. Kabala sa mo, Jesus, pray. Amen. So, before we begin, na may pag-games kami tanay. So, watch out. To start our game, I have Karen Garapa, the special guest for today's hampang. So, our game is about guess the picture but a twist. Syempre, ang twist may ng meaning para masapos lang kasi syempre lang ng hindi mamlabudlay like that. So, amo niya, ma-share screen ko danay para makita niya. So, social-emotional development is correct. So, thank you, Giapo, for participation today. So, let's start our presentation. Thank you. So, let's start the presentation. I'm the presenter, Kintubang Banwa, and our topic is all about the high school learners, adolescents. Physical development. A period of transmission from childhood to adulthood. It may include many physical, cognitive, and social emotional changes. So, when we say physical development, it would be sa aton overall lifespan. Bilog nga kabuhi, it may sa aton physical cognitive. When we say physical cognitive, like changes of brain, sa aton nga sense of smell, motor skills, also ang ginatawag nga development nga learning sa attention, memory, language, thinking, reasoning, and not but that the least is creativity. And while we say social emotional changes, for instance, being yung bata or hinablos ka forms ang independent identity and learning to be adult, like people spend their childhood learning to be like their parents, and their adolescence learning would they have were different from their parents. Adolescents experience an overall physical spurt to the growth proceed from the extremis toward to the torso and refer to a proximal pattern of development. So when we say ng adolescent spurt, the growth proceed from the extremes toward the torso. This refer to the proximal pattern of development. In other words, you may see the hands grow, then the arms, and finally the torso. The overall physical growth means increases all about 10 to 11 inches in the height and 50 pounds in the weight. The head begins to grow sometimes, and there the feet have gone through their period of growth. Growth of the head is preceded by growth of the ears, nose, and lips. However, a torso grows to thus internal organs and the heart, lungs experience dramatic growth during the period. Sweat, other oil glands become more active. So when we say physical growth, amo na sa ang like sa mga babies bala, like sa bata sila daw mas sila gadako sila bayad arang kibot ka lang bala ng pagkatanaw mas bata kami pero pila pa lang ka months or years dako sila diyon, like amo na sa ang proximal distal pattern go na sila sa hand kag sa mga arms sa mga pagwa bala like tiil like that amo na sa. So the next is the brain also undergoes dramatic changes during adolescence. There are prefrontal cortex located behind the forehead and is a part of the brain that helps the judgment and planning those grows. Adolescence, the cerebrum also grows. Adolescence, you may watch the film inside the teenage brain for more details. So next is sexual maturation. Another change when they go during adolescence. Changes are divided into two categories: primary sex characteristics and secondary characteristics. So the next report will report that. So thank you.
Changes are divided into two categories: primary sex characteristics, secondary characteristics. Primary sex characteristics are changes in the reproductive organs. For example, is sa lalaki, include na ang pag-growth of testes, penis, scrotum, and syempre ang burst ejaculation of semen, or ang natawag nga sperm, spermage at the age of 11 to 15. Sa secondary characteristic naman niya is those not directly linked to reproduction but changes that signal a male is becoming sexually mature. Example is ang tingog nagalain na kag ayban pagid. Are changes in the reproductive organs are those not directly linked into reproductive but changes that signal that a male is becoming sexually mature. Example ang paglain katingog, pagtaas kag palanambok kag iban pa. Di na di ma-identify nga sexually mature na ang cognitive development. Piaget believed that many adolescents reach formal operational thought. This is marked by the ability to think abstractly or to use system of abstract thought or logic more readily. Piaget believes nga kung nasa adolescent stage ang isa ka tawo is na-reach out yan na ang formal operational thought nga kung paano manumdum ang isa ka tawo, logic man or more on readily. Psychologists debate a kind over C and Whites at unique qualities of adolescent thought. Ginfrog ni David Kind nga ang adolescent stage is more on high thinking abilities na nasakay may buot na ang isa ka tawo kag may or naga-enhance na ang iyang brain income sa thinking ability.
Good day everyone, so I am Abdullah Omar Tanes and I will be the next reporter. So, adolescent egocentrism is the feeling a teenager may have that no one can understand what they are going through. So, adolescent egocentrism, amo ni siya ang nagaka-feel sa isa ka teenager going through the adolescent stage na siya lang maka-feel or siya lang maka-inshindi. A consoling adult may be told you don't understand or nobody understands. Next is the imaginary audience. The imaginary audience refers to the feeling of a self-consciousness that many adolescents feel. Even when alone, the teenager may be imagining how others would see them. So, ang isa ka teenager nga go through sa amo nga stage is more aware sa iya nga ginaubra even though siya lang isa thinking nga maiba nga tawo ang ga-observe kagatanaw sa iya. Those who feel particularly uneasy or awkward may try to make the discomfort by being sarcastic or posturing in public. Next is the personal fable. The personal fable is the notion that fame and fortune lie ahead. This belief comes as the adolescent is able to see possibilities but not yet understand the probabilities. So a personal fable is when you think nga ang isa ka bagay is possible but the truth is it's not probable. For instance, during a class discussion on personal fable, the student said, "Oh my gosh, I did this. I kept a list of all my teachers' names so that I could personally thank them when I became famous." So, the invincibility fable is the mistaken idea that one is indestructible. Teenagers may think that they may never get hurt when engaging in risky behavior. In youth, conformity is emphasized. Many young teenagers, especially, pressure one another to act, speak, dress, and think alike. Formal operational thought can be accompanied by the ability to see possibilities never before considered. Youth are often idealistic as a result. However, what is possible is not the same as what is likely. So, presto kagina sa example, given niya, may list na siyang teachers' names niya para ma-thank niya personally. So, it is possible, but it's not what is likely to happen. So, the next is the beginning of our modern idea of adolescence as a time of storm and stress can be traced to G. Stanley Hall. So, who is Hall? Hall wrote a 3-volume work documenting the lives of youth in 1909. As people relocated to large industrial cities, youth became more visible and gained the attention of social workers and others concerned with the development. Hall believed that the storm and stress of adolescence is created by the biological changes associated with puberty. So, what are the biological changes associated with puberty? When we hear the word teenager, the first thing that comes to our mind is puberty and all the physical changes that teens go through. Teens are developing adult-like physical features and are also becoming sexually mature, which includes developing new feelings about their bodies, relationships. Physical maturation generally occurs before the teens mature mentally, socially, and emotionally. But for many teens, adolescence is not a period of storm and stress. It seems to be a more stressful time for those who are also experiencing other stressors, perhaps at school or at home. Next is Anna Freud. Anna Freud created the field of child psychoanalysis, and her work contributed greatly to our understanding of child psychology. She also developed different techniques to treat children. Freud noted that children's symptoms differed from those of adults and were often related to developmental stages. Anna Freud wrote about adolescence and saw it as a period of temporary disruption as the ego, and superego are out of balance. Hopefully, the overactive ID is brought under control by the ego, or through the use of reason and by being realistic. The later years of adolescence are less volatile than early adolescence. Next is Erikson. Erikson believed that the primary concern of adolescence is that of establishing identity. The teen struggles with the question, who am I? Who am I physically, sexually, socially, vocationally, spiritually, academically, and so on?
So, good afternoon everyone. I am the next and the last reporter, Arjun G. Retangale. So, the teen needs to wait or go through a period of exploration called a social moratorium. So, ang social moratorium has a identity crisis. For example of this, nang ako ginbata nga Katoliko, but nang na-decide ko nga ako mismo na-decide nga mag-go sa isa ka church nga nga protest church, like mga na bala nga mga baptist, mga pinada ng mga basta mga protestante nga mga church nang tawag niya nga social moratorium. So next is identity foreclosure, when others take that decision away from the teen. So ang identity foreclosure, ang amo ni siya nga gin-accept mo ang isa ka bagay na wala sang duwa-duwa, wala ka nagpanumdum kung tsakto na or sala or makalain sa imo or makamayo na sa daw mo lang daging take ang responsibility nga wala ka gid kabalo kung mayo na ang idulot sa imo or sa imo man nga palibot. So next, here is a list of what some teens reported that they wanted from their parents. So wari naman sa diri nga slide na walanta so nga kung mga ang sang una nga basta man siya they wanted reasonable freedom and privilege. Yun siya. So kita sa una sa high school ta to maglisensya ta bala ng wala tayo na pasugtan na maglagaw. Siyempre bata patag akigan ta kay ang example ang ako sa una gusto ko gid maglagaw magbayle-bayle na bala na bayle na sa high school pa ko ni gusto ko gid maglagaw muupod sa mga magulang ko ng gabi magbayle kay siyempre sadya na mo kis ala na bayle pero sa layo ng lugar tapos nagtry ko maglisensya nakahimos na ko na nakapanhibin naka forma na hindi may forma nga nakasapatos ng lang daw usual lang forma na maglakat ka bala tapos nagtry ko lisensya na kay mama or kay papa man wala ko yung pasugtan muna na wala di ko nakaupod. Siyempre kabalo mo ko nga bata pa ko nang bawal maglayaw. Tapos next they wanted their parents show faith on the decision they made na muna sample na bala mo na nagisinsyano ko to be na maili ko wala ko na sugtan nagibi nakaidukid ko kay mama kay papa nga pasugtan ko nilalaga kay upod ko man magulang ko kag mga taga sa amon man nga mamayli or mamista kami sa isa ka barangay or sa kalapit na naman na puro nga upod kami tapos wala yung basugtan nag-iibi ko na palak-palak ang bala sa inyo sa high school ka mo na agyan ni nga nagisensya ka mo wala ka maging pasugtan tapos nag-BA ka mo tapos they wanted their parents to be willing to listen to them arin naman niya bala may gani example kung may mga problem ta syempre ginapamatianggit na sa aton nga parents kay sila kay bala ang nakasala ta tapos ang parents na gid permi sa aton nga mag-explain or maghambal nga injaktuhon kita sa aton nga sala kag para hindi na pagliwaton ang sala nga aton nga nahimo. Next, cognitive development teaching tips. As your student for explanations. So ari naman na cognitive development as your student for explanations. Ari naman kung bala ikaw example teacher ka nagpa-answer ka tapos ang imong student nag-answer sang ng kunwari sa high school baboy answer what is ang animals found in a farm example sa baboy tapos nagatag explanation gibawan ko to yung mga student nang give explanation explain ko nga baboy yung sabatan nga siya tapos provide feedback on the sensitive issues by students. So ari naman kung magtapos na hambal ang student sa iyang explanation about sa pig or sa baboy mahatag ng feedback or balik na para arab lang maintindihan nila kung gid ang buot silingon sang gihambat sang imong student siya was a student to reflect on their own strategies. And last, social emotional development teaching tips. 7 C's of resilience, competence, confidence. Number 3, connections. Number 4, character. Number 5, contribution. Number 6, coping. Number 7, control. And that's all for our report. Thank you.